Hey everybody, this is Stephy Hogan with CreativePro, and today I want to show you how to make your clustered bar charts look way cooler than you ever thought they could. Like this right here, this is a clustered bar chart, but what does it look like when we just make a clustered bar chart just out of the box? So let me copy the data I have here. Copy. And on this slide, we'll go to Insert at the top, to Chart, and then go down to Bar, Clustered Bar, and we'll add that in. It looks nothing like what I just showed you. So how do we get there? Well, let me paste my data in here real quick, and we'll just drag this little handle over. There we go, so we don't pull in all this extra whatever. All right. Here we go. Now, for now, I'm just going to get rid of some of this chart junk. And I know for this, I usually have the men is teal and the women is purple. So women, let's change these so we can be consistent as we move on here. Okay. Now let me get rid of that. You'll notice here that the data goes outwards from a center axis. And that means for this, one of these series or data point sets or whatever have to be negative numbers. So I happen to have that copied down here, so I don't have to do this by hand. Copy. And let's edit this data real quick. And just paste that in. And now we have negative numbers. It's coming from the center out. So a few things. Right now, our axis is in the middle and we really can't read it. Even if we make it nice and big, we still need it to be over on the far left. So to do that, right click, Format Axis, come down here to Labels, and label position, we want it to be low. So it will be on the left. All right, now we need our data set to be parallel with each other. None of this alternating stuff. So if you select anything on one of the series, right click, choose Format Data Series, come over here to where your series overlap and gap width are. For series overlap, we want them to overlap completely, all the way to 100%. See, now they're opposite each other. The gap for me is a little too big, so I'm going to take the gap width down to 42-ish, I guess. That should work. To get these pale gray background placeholder bars, so we can see what the max numbers could possibly be, we need to add in two different series. So let me go here, edit the data, and I'll copy it from here. What I want you to see is that I have 4 series now instead of just 2. And it's important the order in which they go. Think of these as stacking layers on top of each other. The bottommost layer or the bottom series that's going to be in the back is going to be the one that's on the left. And then the one that's on the far right will be on top of whatever comes before it. So our backgrounds have to be behind the series we actually want to see. So let me copy this. We'll come up to this chart that we're working on, edit data, and paste all of that in. And now don't forget to pull the data window or whatever this is called out to include everything. And wow, isn't that just stunning? All right, but what we see here is if I click on teal, because we have to recolor these now, that actually is going this whole width. That is our max here, and as is this. So these 2 series, I want the fill color to be gray. No line, no border, solid fill, and we'll go for this pale gray. And the same goes here. No line, pale. Am I going to pick the right one the first time? And then these were supposed to be the teal bars, so let's put these back to this teal, and then this really bright color here will change back to the purple. All right, now we're getting closer. So that and that are almost the same. You'll see here I have the younger numbers on top and the older on the bottom. So 18 to 24 is up top and 65 plus is on the bottom. In our chart, to do that, click on the axis, right click on it, format axis. And under axis options, there's something called categories in reverse order over here. So check that and it will flip it for you. Sweet. Okay. Now, how do we get the rounded ends? Oh my gosh. So to do that, we need to add error bars. If you've watched any of my past videos, you know I make use of this to do roundy things on the ends of data series. So go to chart elements. We can add chart elements from here if you're on PC, or just have that chart selected, go up here to chart design, add chart element, and we want error bars. And we'll go standard error bars. Now, let's zoom in on these because they're hard to see. This is what they look like by default. But what we're going to do with these is, if you have those selected, right click on it, edit or format error bars. We want over here, we'll choose minus. And yes, we want no cap, no kidding. And a fixed value of something stupid small. 0.1 will work, 1 will work, something tiny. Because over here, on the ends of these blue ones, we have this little point. Okay, now we need to format these error bars. And if you go over here to the fill, the line, we want solid line. The color of that particular series for this one is the teal. And then it's really important to change the cap type here to round. And now we just need it to be as wide as these series bars. And if I remember correctly, I think it for this was 29. Oh, almost. It looks a little tiny bit big. So there, 28.5. So remember that number because now we have a round thing here, but we need to do it for all of them. So let me just quickly do that. There we go. Okay. So let's show our data labels because here we have the data labels showing. And so to do that, we'll click on our chart and then go to chart design, go back up to add chart element and add data labels. And we want them on the inside end. Go home, make them bigger. And we are going to delete the ones on the gray. So let's make these white. Let's get rid of these and then we'll get rid of these. And there you go. Oh, but wait, now we have one last problem. The data for the men are showing as negative and we don't want that. So how do we fix it? Well, click on the data labels, right click, format data labels. Let's go to number. If we open number up, we're going to change this to custom. This is a code that I looked up. I didn't figure this out on my own. But it is 0 _ right parentheses, semicolon, 0. That's the format you want. And then it will get rid of the minus sign there. And look, our axis here is looking like it's not black anymore. So let's make sure, like here, we have these bars reaching all the way from left, right, and there's not that much of a gap, like we have a big gap here. So to do that, we need to adjust our x-axis. And I hid that. So with the chart selected, go to chart design, add chart element. We're going to put the x-axis back temporarily, the horizontal one, and then right click on that axis and we'll come in here and make our minimum. You'll see if we do 150 and 150, it cuts off those really hard worked for roundy things. So let's make it a -160 and a 160 on the other side. And you'll notice that the roundy things are bigger than the bars. That's because we put our axis back. If we delete that axis again, everything matches. So there you go. One of the coolest clustered bar charts you can get inside of PowerPoint.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel. And for thousands more how-to articles and tutorials, visit our website, creativepro.com, and become a member today. Thanks for learning with us.